The following is a presentation on the UFSN network. Welcome to the UFAFL Nation.
Yes, it's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's another episode of UFAFL Nation. Welcome in. I am your host, Michael Skrzyniak. We have an excellent show for you today. We're going to have Phil from the Hydra on later on to talk about his squad. He's 7-3. He's feeling really good. And then before that, though, we're going to get to the NFL recap, the UFAFL recap, where the Trouts stay undefeated. They're now 10-0, so we'll break that down later on. We'll have stock up and stock down. Amy McNamara, you're probably not going to want to listen to that segment. And then my best bets. It's going to be a good matchup for the best bet segment. 2 6-3 teams. I'm really looking forward to talking about that later. You guys can find me at Twitter at MichaelSKRZ. You can also find the league itself at the UFAFL. And then the scouting department headed by Jamie Thomas, UFAFL_scouting. If you guys have any questions or any information you would like on the league, you can email us there at info@uffsports.com. And then the website's there as well to check out the league and anything else you'd like to look into for the UFAFL. Guys, don't forget about the fantastic items available at the UFAFL Store. The link is right there. Water bottles, tumblers, T-shirts, sweaters, shorts, even if you're crazy enough to wear it in 5-degree weather out here like in Ontario today. There's lots of good stuff there, guys. The holidays are about a month away now, so some pretty good gift ideas there. You can put your logo on anything there, or the UFAFL logo, which is also pretty sharp. So don't forget to check out that store and help out the family over at UFF Sports. So let's get into the NFL recap. And a busy week 10 it was, but we're going to start off with Tom Brady throwing 2 first-quarter interceptions and then a 10.5-minute fourth-quarter drive, which led Washington to an upset victory over the Buccaneers, which drops Tampa Bay to 6-3. This is the second straight loss for Tampa, who are now just a game up on the Saints for the NFC South lead. It actually wasn't all sunshine and roses for Washington, though, as they lost defensive end Chase Young, sophomore. He was remember, guys, he was the second overall pick. He's an absolute stud, but they tore his ACL, so he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Just another part to a disappointing year for that Washington defense. On the offensive side, though, it was nice to see running back Antonio Gibson bounce back with 2 touchdown runs against a really stout Tampa Bay defense. If he's healthy down the stretch, whoever has him in your home league, I think he's going to be a real comfortable RB2 with upside. Ryan Fitzmagic isn't probably going to come back this year, so hopefully Taylor Heineke can keep that offense rolling. Gibson's been dealing with a shin injury basically like half the season, so they're off their bye. Hopefully he's healthy, and hopefully he can continue this momentum going forward. Staying in the NFC, Russell Wilson threw 2 picks in his first game back since his finger injury, and A.J. Dillon fills in quite nicely for Aaron Jones, running for 2 touchdowns as the Packers shut out the Seahawks to improve to 8-2. This game sucked, not going to lie. It was 3-0 going into the fourth quarter. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, very disappointing, combining just for 5 catches and 49 receiving yards. I talked about Aaron Jones earlier. He's going to be out for at least 1 to 2 weeks with an MCL sprain. So if you have A.J. Dillon in your home leagues, fire him up because he's one of those guys. He's a backup running back, yes, but a second-round pick. He's one of the better guys coming out of his class. He's a horse. They've compared him to Derrick Henry because of his size. 2 touchdowns, and he catches the ball. So if you have A.J. Dillon, yeah, just play him in all your home leagues. Jones will be back eventually, but A.J. Dillon's stock is definitely rising. And then the next game I wanted to talk about will shift to the AFC, and Mac Jones throws 3 touchdowns, and Baker Mayfield leaves the game with a knee injury as the Pats crushed the Browns for their 4th straight win. And now they're only a half game back of the Bills in the AFC East. Who would have thought this when the Patriots were 2-4? The Browns were without Nick Chubb, and they're missing a lot of guys, to be honest. And they've lost 4 of the last 6 games. The whole AFC North in general just had a bad week. The Ravens lose to the Dolphins on Thursday night. The Steelers tie the Lions. Thankfully for the Bengals, they were on bye, so this was a great week for them. But yeah, this AFC North is super weird. But I want to keep talking about the Patriots because The defense ranks 6th in the NFL right now. Ramondre Stevenson filled in for Damian Harris. He had 100 yards on 20 carries. Rookie 4th rounder. He looks really good. The running game looks strong. And Mac Jones, we're going to talk about him later, but he looks like probably the co-rookie of the year favorite with Jamar Chase. He's probably the best of the rookie quarterbacks right now. I didn't think that was going to happen at the start of the season. Just goes to show how good Bill Belichick really is and how a strong coaching staff sometimes trumps talent. The Pats, they play the Falcons this Thursday. I expect them to win, but in this NFL, you don't know. But after this Thursday night game, so say they go 7-4, then they're going to have 4 tough games in a row. They're going to face the Titans, the Bills twice, and the Colts. If the Patriots can get through this stretch, I'm sorry, guys. None of us are Patriots fans, but hopefully, it's nice to see them do well without Tom Brady. It's good storylines, but people should be scared because there's not a lot of consistent teams in the AFC. And with a good run game and good defense and no turnovers, the Patriots are probably going to win a lot of games and sneak into that wild card, if not past the Bills. And that leads us to our UFAFL recap. One big upset we wanted to start with. The Kingsmen upset the Empire as the Madden South goes 4-0 in Week 10. Yes, the Kingsmen. Speaking of Mac Jones, he was on the Kingsmen along with CeeDee Lamb, who had a massive game, and they had 4 touchdowns from the tight end position. The Empire did not have Daniel Jones. He was on a bye week. They got nothing from the quarterback spot. But the Kingsmen, like I said, not the only team in the Madden South to win. The Legion have won 4 straight. The Canada West Gladiators upset the Blockchain Bounty Hunters. So only 2 games separate 1st and 4th place in the division. It's pretty wild. And there's a huge game that we're teasing. We're going to talk about that later on. The Doom, they lose ground in the Manning East as they get disappointing results from their Los Angeles Rams, including Matt Stafford and Aaron Donald, as they lose to the Timberwolves to fall further back in the top-heavy Manning East division. Manning East is super tough with the undefeated Circus Sports Trout and the Tiger Sharks, who are riding a 5-game win streak. Joe Mixon will be coming back for the Doom, who look to get back on track against the Resistance in Week 11. And we've talked about them already, guys. Who can actually stop the Circus Sports Trout? I feel like we talk about these guys every week. They get 77 points from the running back position. Ramondre Stevenson, like I said, filling in for Damian Harris, who the Trout also have. Plus they have Antonio Gibson, plus Najee Harris. They're just stacked. And then like they needed help, but Devontae Smith, rookie wide receiver from the Eagles, catches 2 touchdowns on his birthday, no less. And then, you get Allen Robinson coming back off of bye. Antonio Brown hasn't even been healthy. So, these guys have a chance to get even better. Good luck to the UFAFL, basically. Because remember, they got one of the Bosa brothers. They got Levante David. They're just stacked everywhere. So, sorry, guys, but good luck stopping this team. And that leads us to our stock up and stock down. And we've talked about him basically all episode already. Mac Jones, QB for the Pats, is part of my stock up for this week. Right now, he's the QB 19 in UFAFL scoring. He's got 11 touchdowns over his last 7 games. And we talked about his opponents. Atlanta, you can throw on. Tennessee, you can throw on. And the Bills, especially if it's a shootout type of game. And Buffalo's defense hasn't looked that great. The whole team really hasn't looked that great. So I just like the direction that this team is looking, especially with an efficient offense. Really good O-line and defense is going to keep them in games. Hunter Henry has 7 touchdowns over his last 7 games. So I just think that Mac Jones, he's spreading the ball around, and he's not making mistakes. And right now, that's all you can ask for a rookie QB. So if you have him in your home leagues, there's not a lot of guys that are locked in right now. So if you have a bye week or you're stuck somewhere, you got an injury, Mac Jones is the perfect fill-in replacement, especially for the next couple of weeks. And that leads me to my stock down. Andy Mack, cover your ears. But it's the Cleveland Browns pass catchers. Last week I talked about the Saints pass catchers, and I was kind of right about that because it's the same type of thing where there's not a true number 1 alpha anymore, especially with OBJ leaving, and they want to just run the ball. So Baker Mayfield actually left the game on Sunday with a knee injury. And then backup Dearness Johnson, he led the team with 7 receptions. The Browns have a tough schedule. They have the Lions this week, which might help. But if Nick Chubb comes back or Dearness Johnson continues to play as well as he did, I just expect him to run the ball and play good defense. They're not going to be airing it out, especially with Case Keenum back there if he plays for Baker Mayfield this week. And then after the Lions game, the Browns have back-to-back games against the Ravens, who we know are trying to win the division and possibly get the number 1 seed in the AFC. And you know they're going to be pissed off coming off that loss to the Dolphins. So it's just been really tough for the Browns. Like Jack Conklin, star right tackle, still hurt. He didn't play this past week. They gave up 5 sacks to the Patriots, which is very unlike the Browns' offensive line. So I'm just kind of down on all the Browns in general. Like, they're banged up, and yeah, sorry, Andy Mac. I thought it was going to be their year. Like, they looked really strong to start the season. But losing Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb's been out of the lineup. Dearness Johnson has filled in wonderfully, but I just can't trust this Browns offense as we speak. Dearness Johnson right now is the only guy you can play until Chubb or Hunt come back. So that leads us to our best bet segment. And I'm really looking forward to this matchup because it's actually a true pick'em, which is kind of rare in this league. I'm taking the Legion, though. They are half a point underdogs to the Stormbreakers, who are 6-3. Legion, 6 wins in a row. It's a true pick'em, like I said, and I'm going to ride with the Legion just strictly because they're averaging 40 more points a week than the Stormbreakers. For the Stormbreakers, they got Jalen Hurts, who will play a tough Saints defense this upcoming week. And then they have Chuba Hubbard on the bench, or on the roster, sorry. But with Christian McCaffrey coming back, that's actually going to put Chuba Hubbard more on the bench. I know he scored this past week. McCaffrey only played, I believe, 53% of snaps. I expect that to go up, especially with Carolina winning this past weekend. It's actually vaulted them into the last wildcard spot in the NFC. So I just assume that they're going to ride Christian McCaffrey more and more, especially as he gets he's going to get more into the game shape, and his cardio is going to be improved. So I just don't really know about the Legion going forward. It was a nice little run for Chuba, but he's just not going to see playing time. The Legion might be getting Chase Claypool back this week as well, and then hopefully better games from DJ Moore and Michael Pittman, who had disappointing weeks. If Cam Newton plays more for the Panthers, then we don't really know what this offense is going to be. And Cam has shown in the past that he loves DJ Moore, so I just expect better games for him going forward. The Legion just has way more overall talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So despite the Stormbreakers having a really good season, I can't bet against the Legion and the run that they're on at the moment. So guys, before we end the show, we are going to actually head to our interview right now. Hi! And welcome to the show, Phil Bevis, General Manager of the Hydra. 7-3, first place in the Manning East Division, or Manning West Division, sorry. Phil, thank you for taking the time. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining, despite wearing a Cowboys jersey when you're from Tennessee. I feel like you're trying to mock me. You know me, I'm a Titans fan, but no, we appreciate you coming on, man. Big win over the Crypto Warriors this week. 7-3, first place in the Manning West, like I said. Must be feeling pretty good about the squad.
For sure. Nothing to hate on, for sure.
Well,
I'm the kind of person I'm never going to be 100% happy with it, but
hey man, we're
doing good at the moment,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Well, Dak Prescott, you got Austin Eckler, who I'm a big fan of. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 2. Marcus Golden might be one of the big surprises of the league. He's right now linebacker 6. He's actually even been higher this year. I want to talk about a couple of your boys. So Dak, obviously, you must be pretty happy with. Even this, he is QB 9, might have been a little bit higher. I know he missed the game last week. But is it how are you feeling about the squad? Is there any part of the team that you're looking for improvements, or just give me general thoughts about the squad?
As of right now, improvement-wise, probably defensive. I know coming out of the draft, I was really wanting to improve on the receiver core, and we went out and ended up getting Curtis Samuel, Marvin Jones, Tyreek Hill. A few of those guys haven't really come to what they should have been, but hopefully they come back from injuries and maybe year 2 we can get something out of it.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel has been very disappointing. That whole Washington team has been very disappointing. But like Cameron Jordan's a good player. Like I said, Marcus Golden, you definitely have some defensive pieces. So defense, would that be the target for the offseason to maybe improve the defense so you can go head-to-head with some of the top heavier teams in the league?
Right. For sure. Maybe running back, maybe finding an RB2, but I like Jamal Williams, so
yeah, he's a good player.
Just hope he gets healthy so he can.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him behind DeAndre Swift. Obviously, like he does get pass catching work, but they're always so far behind. It's so hard to trust that Lions offense. Nothing you can really do about that. But I do like Jamal Williams as a player, and like they paid him, right? So they obviously do like him. And if Swift ever gets hurt, then man, you got a bona fide like a top 15 guy. Phil, whenever I bring
there's a lot of garbage time points there.
Oh, that's very true, right? So yeah, hopefully gets those like 5 or 6 catches in the second half, and you're laughing, right? Phil, I want to move on because every time I get one of the members of the league on, I always like to ask how they got involved with UFF Sports and UFAFL Nation. So can you take me through your journey on like, did somebody bring you into this, or did you find out about this league like in a different way? How did you get involved with the UFF Sports? Because I know the UFAFL Nation isn't the only league that you're a part of.
Right. I actually got involved through Max. He's the commissioner of one of my dynasty leagues, and he tried to sell it to me. Finally, I got to the point where I said, might as well take it to the next level and see what it has to offer. And interviewed with a few ownership groups, interviewed with the Palace Athena ownership group, which is Alan White and Clay Belinsky. And we hit it off, and here we are.
So you are what other teams are you involved, or what other leagues are you involved in? What other sports with this league?
We're actually involved with the Legends League. I'm running a team for the UFBA, the basketball league, and just bought into the baseball.
Wow, so you are heavily involved. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Actually, baseball will be my first venture into ownership, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, so you're definitely going to be busy. How did you get it? Like, have you always been into fantasy sports? I'm guessing like, so you were born and raised in Tennessee. Like, I don't really know the scene over like the sports scene because like, aside from the Titans and then the Grizzlies coming in late with the Predators also coming in late, like I don't know how sports would have affected you as a kid, like growing up, because like I don't know, there wasn't really a lot of professional teams. You guys always came off to me as like a college city, right? Because like the University of Tennessee and whatever. So, have you always been a big sports fan? How'd you get involved with fantasy?
Mainly in Tennessee, mainly football and baseball. I played baseball for 14 seasons, and football come along maybe in high school. I started playing 3 or 4 years, but I was mainly a baseball guy for the longest.
Well, you must be pretty jacked.
Now, as far as hockey, oh, most definitely. Been a Braves fan my whole life.
Yeah, because like I follow a bunch of Titans guys on Twitter, right? No, you don't. You don't want to go to a Predator. You don't want to go to a Predators game. Doesn't appeal to you.
No, I don't know that I've ever watched a hockey game in my life.
Really? Yeah, no, I was just going to say about the baseball, though, because I follow a bunch of Titans guys on Twitter and stuff, and like they were all jacked up about the Braves. I didn't realize that was probably the closest team to them, the closest professional baseball team for them, so that's why they cheered for the Braves. So, man, that was a hell of a playoff run. Freddie Freeman, we claim him as a Canadian, so I was really happy to see him do well, win that ring. His son's super cute, Charlie, and like I always love their interactions too. So definitely fun watching the Braves run. Yeah, it's cool though, man. At least you're involved in all the sports. Like I know there's a couple other guys in the league that are basically involved with everything as well. The Legends League, super exciting. You must be stoked for that as well.
I'm so excited about the Legends League.
Yeah, it must just be like you must just be busy all the time just dealing with all these leagues, man. Like I have a hard enough time dealing with this league like 3 times a week. I basically have to do research, but if you're into it 24/7, 365, good on you, man.
Right.
That's awesome stuff.
We're looking at the number 1 pick in Legends and the number 1 pick in baseball, so it's exciting.
So yeah, I actually heard you were starting some stuff up in the baseball league, and who are you aiming for at the Legends League with that first overall pick? Do you have any direction where you're going?
We got some ideas.
No spoilers, eh? No spoilers.
Yeah, there's one certain guy I've been calling the new Babe Ruth. So.
Oh boy, I don't know.
Possibly.
I'm guessing it has something to do. Might have something to do with that Cowboys jersey. Am I right on that?
Possibly.
Oh man. Well, Phil, Ben, thank you so much for taking the time. I know we had some technical issues last week, but glad that we were able to figure that out. I know Dean's a wizard behind the scenes, and man, thank you once again. Good luck the rest of this season. I expect you guys to go to the playoffs. Like you guys are really top heavy, some really good talent. Eckler, Tyreek Hill, Dak Prescott, like top, like could be top 5 guys at the position respectively by the end of the season. And Marcus Golden obviously been a stud for you. But thank you, man, for taking the time.
Sure.
But before we leave, guys, we want to let you guys know to go to the UFAFL store once again. Phil, any items that have caught your eye on the store yet? You should have been checking it out at least once or twice by now. Put your Hydra logo on a water bottle or something. How cool would that be?
Hey, I've heard you say that multiple times. I love it.
Man, one day I expect you to send a photo of that water bottle with the Hydra logo into one of the chat groups. So, yeah, guys,
I got you.
Make sure to perfect. Well, make sure to check out that store. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of UFAFL Nation. Some pretty big games, I think, this week and coming up. I know the Cowboys have the Chiefs this week, so that'll be a fun one. And we'll talk about it next week, same time, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for Dean behind the scenes running the show. Darren Bates, Andy Mack, and Jamie doing all that hard work as well. We will catch you guys next week.